Yeah, I'm looking as evidence, right? Adding to my framework and my context of the overall market. Yep. On my 30, 15, 10, 30, 10 charts, do I always have it set at 90 days? No, I actually, and DB is going to help me do this, so I'll have to write up some instructions on how to do it. DB is going to show me how to use the continuous contract so I can go back even further. And then I'll write up some instructions. In fact, what I'll probably do is do a video. And then they'll post the video and you can go back and see how to do a longer term profile. Yep, you're very welcome. But what I want to make sure of that you all understand is how to use this in a manner that allows you to effectively trade. I don't really want to say in any market, because that's, that can be a little bit of an oversell, if you will. And in some cases, if you don't really know how to use it, that's why we go through the principles. And when you understand the principles of the volume profile and the elements of the volume profile, you can truly use it effectively. But if you don't, and you just, if somebody walks in and says, oh, high volume area, that's where price is going, low volume area, it's going to bounce off of. And I believe me, I've taught people who've had that perception after we're done. You're not going to be able to use it effectively. You have to know what it means relative to the auction, and what it means to say, okay, the probability is if buyers don't believe that this is fair price, the probability is price is now going back to this level. So now I can look for, if that's long or short, I can look for a trade back to that level. Yep, you're welcome. So we've been going at it for 4 hours today. How are people doing? So from a, I don't want to say big picture standpoint, do you see how I have to start with the belief, with the knowledge, and this is why we started here on the first day. My basic principle in trading is that when I place my trade, only buyers and sellers, current buyers and sellers, are going to take that trade into profit. Nothing else will do it. And so as I'm looking for a trade, whether it be a trade on a trend or a trade in a fade, I am using these tools and then back down to the print to identify levels and then give me the information that says, yes, in fact, buyers are stepping in at this place or sellers are stepping in at this place, and you have reason to make a trade here. And then I manage that trade. So my ultimate truth in a trade or getting into a trade is the print. It's the order flow. And it is why I hope you're okay with the shameless plug, DB, but it is why I love OFA, because it is my moment of truth. It is not only my moment of truth, the order flow, but it is what helps me manage my trade and manage my risk. And you saw me manage risk today. And I do that simply using an order flow tool that, through color and through the algorithm sitting behind it, tells me what's going on in the auction at the most important time, which is when I'm entering the trade and as I'm managing the trade. Nothing else gives me better information. And if it's true, if I actually believe and get myself to understand that I can never know the future, the market will always be uncertain, all I can ever do is manage my risk. If those things are true, then I can manage with some level of confidence. I know I can't control, but I can manage with confidence. And if I can manage with confidence, then I won't be fearful, and I won't be, which would lead me to be subjective in the trade. And being subjective in the trade, the reason people mismanage trades is not just because they're scared, But number one, they don't have the information in front of them. And even if they have the information, what fear does to the human being is it makes you look at data and it does not allow you to interpret that data correctly. You will lose your ability to interpret data effectively and objectively when you have emotion and anxiety. It's just simply put. And so there is no better tool to help you as you're in the trade, as you're actually managing that trade and contemplating getting into the trade. In my experience, when I am trying to pick levels to trade in, the best levels that I have found, if I'm looking to fade a trade, come with the volume profile. I mean, I've used a lot of different indicators. I've used a lot of different systems. This thingamajig line and this arrow and that triangle, and when this doji occurs across 3 different charts and the super EMA lines up with the SMA and the VXA crosses over, then go short. You know, I've done those systems. I've just never really made any money. But by following the auction and knowing that the volume profile is a result of the auction, it doesn't tell you exactly where all of the trades are going to be. What it does, just like the order flow does, it tells you on an aggregate basis where the interests are for any given time frame, for any given instrument and participants in that instrument, what their interests are in terms of fair price and unfair price. And when I understand the attributes of those elements, I can use the 2 tools together, the volume profile and the order flow, excuse me, to effectively actually trade. And more importantly, I can use them to identify levels that allow me to manage my risk the best. OFA equals trading crack. I'd agree with that statement. Question, could one use these tools for ETFs, etc.? I'm almost there on this. I'm working on getting this to work for stocks, and I may need some help with DB to get this in my ninja charts to get this to work for stocks. But what I can tell you is, it doesn't matter if it's Apple, it doesn't matter if it's IBM or GE or anything, Amazon, it doesn't matter. As long as I can get the volume data and have a tool that creates the profile, I can use what I know about the volume profile and the method of going from outside in to truly effectively trade, or at the very least understand context of any instrument that I can see. Anything that I can see. Because the attributes of the volume profile, because they are a result of the auction, because it's a part of the auction, the attributes and the elements are exactly the same. And every market is an auction. So the profile is just a representation of that auction, of what their interests are, where fair prices and unfair prices are. Just a spread and price scale issue. Well, you can help me through that. I noticed that your MP language does not include initiative and responsive buying or selling. I understand that with the attributes of the elements you use, those words are probably not needed. Is there another reason for the omission? Not really any other reason for that omission in terms of initiative and responsive selling. And here's the rub for me is that sometimes that is a subjective thing. So within the OFA tool, for example, there's responsive and initiating indications relative to each bar. In the overall auction, as I look at the overall auction as a process, say for example within a day, if price is moving up, kind of like what happened in the ES today, as price was moving up. Let me just go back to that point and see if I can show you why if there was, excuse me. Thank you. If there was omission, why it's a little bit difficult to exactly define. Okay, so we had price moving up. We get back up to that point. There we go. And again, I'm just into full control here, so full control mode. I don't want to do anything stupid for the day here now and lose any profit. If I'm talking and trying to trade at the same time, I'm likely to do exactly that. So as price was coming up here and buyers were having a good time, right, and having good progress, this selling right here made a lot of sense to me, right? Buyers become sellers. And as price started crossing over, the previous high, new buying like this is initiative buying. Anything new it's initiative buying, and specifically this buying up here, 19, 10, 25, initiative buying, because it's the first time at that level, and the first time at that level, you want to understand what's going on. So I can see selling, but when the selling started occurring down here, back down into this area, this kind of went beyond a normal pullback, and to me, this started becoming initiative selling. More initiative, and by initiative to me, and maybe we can define it this way: it's one side or the other entering, and so the initiative to initiative responsive has a lot to do with where volume is coming in. If volume is coming into the market, price has gone down, buying volume is coming in, and quite a bit of it. It can be one of two things. It can be buyers really stepping in, or it can be those sellers getting out of their contracts, and all that creates buying, and it can be mistaken as initiative. So to me, in the auction, it's not as simple as, and this is one of the issues doing it bar by bar. It's not as easy as you look at the overall context of the market to say, well, if volume's coming in here based on the previous bar, this is now initiative. This is an initiative response or responsive activity. Responsive selling to me comes after prices moved in a long direction or some direction, and based on price, not news, we see a stark and strong reaction in terms of value and effectiveness in price, moving price the other way. That's responsive activity to me. It's based on price, where price is, because the other side sees significant value. Initiative is, are we kind of at an area where there was previous resistance or support, and the other side's getting very active again, and they're taking initiative to move price further in their direction. So that's what I consider initiative and responsive in the overall auction. It's just one of those things. I hate to say it this way. It's just one of those things that takes time in terms of the context of the overall auction to see. Now, from a scalp standpoint, if you're looking to scalp, then the tool within OFA works really well in terms of initiative and responsive buying and selling. But in the overall auction, initiative is new buying or more buying, taking the initiative at an area to move price. The responsive is price has already moved in a specific direction. Now the other side is stepping in strongly and effectively to move price in the other direction. In terms of using level 2 versus level 1 data for stocks, would there be a significant difference in how OFA displays the colors of the data? I'll let DB respond to that. And because I'm not quite sure how to answer that. With Roberto, I was thinking of initiative as equivalent of breakout trade. Yes, initiative trade. A lot of breakout trades, absolutely. Initiative trades, absolutely right. As opposed to the abdication at the edge and moving the other way. Yes, breakout trades are initiative trades. You are so right. And in the context of the auction, I look at breakouts as initiative. That's why breakout levels become really important to me. And breakout levels, you know, on a pullback. That's why I love those so much. They're great re-entries. But you're right, Roberto, and I think you're looking at initiative in the terms of breakouts exactly correct, the way it should be looked at. That's exactly right, in my opinion. Okay, well, we have gone a little over 4 hours today, and we're going to get back together on Sunday evening. DB, do you want to talk to that at all? If you're there? Oh, okay. 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Be here or be square. Any homework? Yes, good question. Take this document and fill it out. So complete Friday's session. Enter in this information from today. And then do your commentary and do an analysis based on, at least do 2 scenarios. And you're looking for a scenario to say something like, if price opens up here. So if I were to look at today's activity, let me just see here. I'm getting a lot of activity here in the background. 6E, we'll close that out. Where is my... Here, let me do this. Hang on. There we go. So here's my volume profile for the day. We still have a couple hours, 3 hours left in the day. Here's my volume profile for the day. Let's say we get another extension to the upside and price closes up here above the 17 level, up around 20, 21, or 23. What I want you to do is look at this and say, you know, initial move, here's our open right here. Couple of tests down to the downside. um, a move higher, and if we end above here, in context of everything else that the ES is trying to do, the market opened with thinner data down here. Actually, that was previous. That was the here. You know what? That's my problem. I didn't draw another one here. There's our profile for the day. So based on this profile, and you want to compare it to the previous day and what's happened over the week, this is what I'm reading in the market. 1 test down, 2 tests down. We continue to make higher highs for the day, and if it closes higher, that should instinctively tell you that the buyers are continuing to be aggressive based on the close and where this is. Taking a look at the overall volume profile, if price closes above 17, somewhere around 19, 20 or higher, you're going to start looking for 23. And if it gets above 17 and it tests down and holds and closes somewhere back up here, then your first scenario should be, hey, if price opens up on Monday morning above 17, this is what I'm going to do. If price closes down into this zone between 17 and 07, which by the way is a 10-point range. I know you guys have talked about that before. In fact, if you look at where this next low volume area is above here, it's at 20, about 27. Market likes to move in 10-point ranges. I know you've heard that from Laura for a long time. So what does that mean? What does that mean to your trade on Monday? If it closes up here, then you should have an if-then scenario that says if the market opens up above 17, I'm going to look for a long around 1675, 17 area. And use the volume profile for today, and where if it gets above that 17 level, moves higher, the support from today might be at 1775. So make it a range between 1675 to 1775. I just do it on the ES. Do it on the ES. That's what we'll review on Sunday. So in terms of, okay, so before you go, there is a survey before you leave. And there's the survey. My feelings aren't going to be hurt. So I'd appreciate it if you would be willing to take the survey. And I want to improve, and I know that a lot of information you've had in the week here, it's been a lot of information. But I'm telling you, I will commit to making sure that this is something that you get more of going forward, and not at an additional charge, but just to make sure that we continue to do sessions to reinforce what you've learned this week and to help you apply what you've learned this week into other instruments. What time Sunday night? I believe 6:30 p.m. Central. 6:30 p.m. Central. Yeah, Wayne, your questions have been excellent. It seems like you've really absorbed a lot. Yeah, I think I'll type my email into here. Here's my email for you. Eat some anchovies for your voice. I've never heard of that. You know, I had a student once tell me about, I used to get sinus infections a lot. He told me about this thing called colloidal silver. And I kind of just laughed and really didn't make too much of it. And I started getting, you know, more sinus infections. And eventually I tried it. And lo and behold, it worked really well. So I from that point on, I said that if I ever had a something from a student that you know, somebody who I was training that provided information for me, um, I would listen up. I live in Minnesota. Oh, good, Ben. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, colloidal silver is awesome. Oh, good, Bruce. Thank you very much. We're not done, okay? I want to make sure we're real clear about that. We're not done. We're going to have more Q&A sessions and Sunday night, and thinking about some other other ways to provide you guys with information to help cement the concepts. I grew up outside of Chicago, so I'm a Bears fan. It's amazing how those things just don't die. So, but I try not to. I'm a diehard Cubs fan too, so I try not to put too much emotional stock in my Chicago teams because it not good for the heart. Thanks, Carson. Appreciate it. Great questions. Thank you very much. Lars, thank you. Again, we're not done. I'm really hoping you guys are back at 6:30 p.m. Central on Sunday, and we'll go through the homework, and I'm still trying to figure out ways to get you more information. Okay, DB, anything you want to say to close?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. This has really been a fantastic course. I think the poll results show kind of where people are. If you didn't vote, you're not going to hurt our feelings. But we really want to make things as good as possible, and so that's why we ask these things. Anyway, I hope everybody got an awful lot out of it. Mark's certainly given a tremendous amount of his time this week and is committed to things even off the scope. But don't forget, we also have a follow-up next Wednesday so that you can go and take this and put it into action, and then develop some, you know, where you don't have a crutch. So you can meet with us on Sunday night, then trade for a couple of days, watch the market, come back on Wednesday, and then we'll do another follow-up the following Wednesday. So what we're trying to do is make sure that it's not just, oh, I can go back and watch the videos, but that you actually have some interaction. And you know, in general, we just want to build this as best we can. I mean, we want to make sure that that what gets delivered to you is as good as it can be. So if you have any direct feedback for us, you can always email me or Mark. You know, we'd really like to know where we stand with you. So anyway, thanks so much. And Mark, thank you.
Yeah, and I have a note here to get the other templates with some documentation around those. So for some of the other instruments, so I'll work on that over the weekend. And you know, I like to talk to you guys, so they're likely, and DB has never turned me down to have an additional session. Not yet. So I likely will have more sessions so that we can have more discussions. All right, all. Thank you very much. It's been a great week. I look forward to. Someone looks like somebody got into a trade. Up 5 points. Ha! Nice. Ha! Yeah. Oh, looks like 2 people got into that trade. Good job. All right, guys. We'll talk with you on Sunday night. It'll be fun. All right. Take care.